All right, we're gonna give just a couple more minutes. Okie dokie. So I'm going to go ahead and mute everybody. All right. And how's everybody doing? Everybody good? I love it, Shannon. Awesome. So we have Shannon tonight chatting with us about social media. I think some of us use social media already, and so you have an idea of how to use it. And then some of us, maybe we don't use social media. Maybe you do most everything through just in person. So either way, Shannon has awesome tips. And this is actually what she's going to be touching on in our conference speech next month. So I'm really excited that she's going to share some of this with you. So we hopefully will have a chance at the end for some questions. So write down any questions that you have, maybe even put them in the chat box and she can get to them. But I'm going to go ahead and mute myself and then get her.
Okay, I'm muted now. Shift command. Hold on, it's telling me.
I just unmuted you.
Oh, okay.
Okay, sorry.
I told you things on my thing. Okay. Anyways, I'm super excited to talk about this tonight. First, let me say this. I am not somebody that has all the followers. That's not me. But I am obsessed with the subject of branding, and I'm kind of social media obsessed. I love like learning new ways of doing things and just new tips and tricks and those types of things. And my focus in 2019 was going to be branding. I kind of got off to a slow start, and then I've just now really picked up, especially on Instagram. And so I just love it. I think there is so much potential there. We previously did an MLM where I felt like there was a lot of pressure when it came to social media, that like we needed to post 3 to 5 times a day. We needed to be vulnerable. We needed all of these things that I think I kind of started having like a bad, like just relationship with social media, I guess you could say, because I was looking at it as so much pressure. But it does not have to be a pressure factor when it comes to social media. You don't have to have a ton of followers to start. You don't have to have a certain house that looks a certain way or you look a certain way. Like literally anybody can brand themselves on social media. And I feel like one of the first things, and we've talked about this a million times, is figuring out what your brand is. So many of y'all have probably already done this. If y'all have printed out that sheet, which I have it here in front of me, that personal brand worksheet, that's actually from a girl named Monica. She's awesome. You'll have to look her up. Her name's on that sheet. But I love to follow her on Instagram because she's really, really good at branding herself, and I feel like she does it in a very professional and personal way, but not with like over posting. So figuring out your fave vibes, like I always have mine posted, which for some reason it's gone. But anyways, I always have it on my computer. And I'll just tell you quickly what mine are. Mine are faith, family, coffee, Disney, and home decor. I don't have Color Street as one of my fave fives because my husband told me this great quote, and I can't ever exactly remember what it is, but he said something along the lines of like, when people see you, you don't want them to think Color Street. But when people see Color Street, you want them to think you. Think of you. And so I hope that makes sense. So basically, like, I don't want to brand myself where every time someone sees me, like, oh, here she goes, talking about Color Street again. I'd rather brand myself for all the other things that I love and have a passion for. But when someone sees Color Street, they're like, oh, Shannon Hogan, she sells Color Street. And so that's like one of my favorite things he's told me. So that's why Color Street, although I'm obsessed with Color Street, it's not it's not on my fave fives. Kelly Smith said, I mean, not Kelly Smith, Kelly France said it in one of her trainings, like that, you know, your Color Street should just be like the commercials to your reality TV show. And your reality TV show is your fave fives. And I feel like when you have those fave fives, it helps you to know what to post. Like if mine's coffee, it's so easy for me. I do it in my stories almost every morning. I post a picture of me with my coffee mug and say, good morning. And you can see my nails almost every single time. And so I'm branding myself with coffee, but you still see my nails, if that makes sense. So it didn't have to be anything extravagant. But when you have those fave fives and people start following you because of those things, they say your vibe attracts your tribe, and it's so true. Like, I'm probably going to attract moms, honestly, because I share about my family a lot. I share about my faith a lot. Like, those are just things that I share about a lot. So that would be like my number one tip, or coming up with those, because I think that will definitely help you when it comes to social media. And so I was going to read these notes because this is actually from Monica as well, but it's doing the like, know, and trust factor. So it's letting people in and being real and vulnerable without the pressure of social media. You know, like I said earlier, I feel like there was so much pressure with our previous MLM, but you can do this in a non-pressured way. But you want to, you kind of want to show up in a way where they feel like they know you. And you can do that in your VIP page also. You can show up in a way on your VIP page where people feel like they know you. So if they want to reach out to you, or you're reaching out to them about becoming a stylist, they feel like they already know you a little bit. They feel like they know your family. They feel like they kind of know a little bit about you. So I thought that was a really great way. And so also something that she talks about that I was also going to touch on, because I love this, is that social media is not a toy, that it's a tool. And believe me, I am terrible at scrolling and not using it intently. And then that's when you can start getting just discouraged or, wore out more quickly if you're just letting social media drain you rather than using it as a tool. So one of the things I'm talking about, this is a way of posting and using as a tool, is, to ask yourself these questions before you post. What am I doing in Color Street? Why am I doing Color Street? Who else? Who's the community and team that I'm in or trying to reach? And you can kind of ask yourself those kind of questions before you post, and it can kind of help you when you're posting, I guess, when you're posting more about social media. Posting more about Color Street, being a stylist, sorry. But ask yourself those questions, and then you can kind of answer those questions in your post. Like when I go, to mail something, the other day I started talking about, I wasn't like, come join me, but I was just like, man, one of my questions when I started was, do I have to have all the stock? And so I was just vulnerable with that question and answered that question in my post, because that's a legit question a lot of people have. I've been asked that by many times by potential stylists, like, how much money do I have to put in this a month? How much stock do I have to have? So sometimes if you can kind of answer those questions that you maybe had in your post, that can help when you go to talk about being a stylist. All right, let me look down here. What else is? Okay, so as far as social media goes, I know a lot of people do not use Instagram, but I have become obsessed with Instagram right now. And if you follow me on Instagram, you've probably been seeing me doing all these loops. But there are so many resources on Instagram. So I've been doing these loops, and I've started chatting with different moms here and there. And in like a week, I've gained almost 1,000 followers on Instagram from doing these loops. So the loops on Instagram, if you're an Instagrammer, they're great to try to get in with because usually it's moms and stuff. And so I feel like that has been really, really helpful to me. And then, you know, you end up kind of weeding out the ones. But I have been starting to form relationships on Instagram through that. And so using Instagram stories, that is huge. Using that to just share your day to day. You don't have to share everything. Like my husband's always like, you don't have to share everything. And I'm like, I don't have to share everything. But I do try to share enough to where people can kind of see the real me and how real life a little bit. And, you know, and my nails, because I talk about my nails a lot. And I feel like I can post more in my stories about the behind the scenes stuff, about, I can feel like I can just fill my stories with, you know, Color Street without people being annoyed. Where I feel like my news feed, I try to more stick to you know, life. And so I was going to say, oh no, y'all can't see that at all. I was going to kind of show you my social media, like how I do it, but you can't see it. But something Jackie said one time, and I was going to actually use this in our speech too, is like, go to your social media outlets and scroll. I scrolled for like 15 seconds and see what you see. Like, because that's what people are going to do. If they randomly come to your page, what you have posted. So like if you're posting, like sharing all the articles or sharing all the memes or sharing all Color Street, chances are if this is a person that's not within your warm market, they're probably going to write you off. And I don't mean that in an ugly way. I just mean I've done that before. I've had somebody, a friend, request me before and go look at their profile and I'm like, ooh, all they're going to do is try to sell me something. So just watch, you know, your social media outlets and make sure that they are branding to yourself, that you're not branding other Facebook pages or social media outlets by sharing all their content, that you're coming up with your content. And so that's a lot about personal branding. Something else too that that you can brand yourself with is I try never to post, especially on my personal social media pages. Now in my VIP pages, I will, but on my personal pages, I never post graphics. I never post nail fees or nail pictures of other people. Like I stick to my things. And Jackie had posted a while back about the whiteboards, those little foam Dollar Tree whiteboards. Mine's over there. I would grab it. But that has been the best thing because, you know, when you take pictures of your nails, you don't want all the clutter in the background. There you go. You don't want all the clutter in the background. So those whiteboards, I literally have my suitcase and then it's leaned on my window and I lay them down in the sunlight. You know, the sunlight does all the work for you really, and you just have to slap a watermark on it. But watermarking your photos, it just shows your personal social media followers and your VIP followers that you care about this, that you are putting time and effort into this, that you're not just copying and pasting. That's what I've told a lot of my stylists. Like, I don't want Color Street in general, but especially our teams, to be known as copy and paste companies. I see that happening all the time where you scroll and you'll see like 5, and that's fine, but it's really not, because it doesn't seem authentic. And so when you personalize it and you do the work, and it doesn't take long to take pictures, like it just takes a few minutes. And then I like to use word swag, and then I just throw my website on it. So it just looks personable. So that way you're branding, you have your fave 5s that you're focusing on, but when you are throwing in those Color Street commercials, it's obvious that that's your brand on that color street. So that way you don't look, that way you look authentic. What was something else I was going to talk about? Oh, comparison. That's like one of my big things when it comes to branding, because it's so easy to, for instance, look at Kelly France, or like I said, I'm kind of obsessed with this Monica girl right now because she's just the cutest thing. But it's easy to look at stylists that are above you, or stylists on our team, or stylists, and start comparing yourself or trying to be like their brand. And I think that can be paralyzing, and it takes the joy out of your business. So don't try to be anybody else in this business. Like, that's the beautiful thing about you being a stylist, is this is your business. So you can run it however you want to. I might do something in my VIP page that rocks, and you do it in your VIP page and it doesn't, or vice versa. April's done stuff in her VIP page and I've tried it in mine and it flopped. But I don't let that discourage me. I say, oh, well, and I just delete it and, move on. So, don't compare your VIP pages or any of that to anybody else. You just have to, find yourself in this business and decide what you want your brand to be, and cling to that, and do, filter out all of the other stuff going around. And that's what, when it comes to graphics too, like, I know so many people share graphics, and our team is amazing at sharing graphics. Sometimes it's okay to like take an idea. I've taken many ideas, like, oh, that is an awesome idea, and hopped on Pinterest, got my own pictures, or took my own pictures and made it my own. And so you can always do that. Take the ideas and then change them up a little bit and make the graphics more your own, or more towards, your style, and those types of things. But I think that's about it. Yeah, I mean, I just think branding, like I said, I think it's very important. Although, thankfully for Color Street, I don't think it's something that, like, we can solely work from our VIP page. But I was talking to my husband. My husband's not, he has Instagram and Facebook, but he's just not a big, like, he gets annoyed with me sometimes, if I'm just being honest. But I've had to explain to him, like, if you want that, if you want to brand yourself and you want to get out there and grow in that, you can. But like I tell him, I'm like, but it's like I have to do it 100%. If you're wanting to grow and brand yourself, it has to be done 100%. And once you get in the habits of like Instagram stories and those types of things, like, I can get in a habit of Instagram stories and they come so easy. But as soon as I slow down, they become harder. But people want to see those. They love a reality TV show.
Love it.
If anybody has any questions?
Do you have any questions? You can unmute yourself, or you can ask in the chat. While we're waiting, I want to remind you guys, like, everything Shannon says, like, just try it. Like, you might be sitting here thinking, oh, but like, she does it so well, I could never do it as well as her. Like, we all started at some point, and like she said, like, it's just a matter of like squashing that fear of what people think, or if you're doing it right. Because like, when we started using, like, before, am I breaking up? I don't know, I feel like it looks like I am. Okay, when we first started using social media in our other company we were with, we made so many mistakes. Like, we did post the graphics, we did do the things that you're really not supposed to do, and so thankfully we've kind of gone before you and have already made all these mistakes. So just take these tips and, like, forget about if you've already made the mistakes that we say, the things not to do. And then just know social media is not really the place where, it is the place where we sell, but your personal, like, pages, Instagram and things like that you're making connections. Okay, like, that is your number one priority, is you're branding yourself to show people who you are and to make it a welcoming invitation to get to know me or you or whatever, so that you can build connections. And so try not to think of this as like, oh, I've got to sell like 3 sets off of Instagram or whatever. Like, no, like, the pressure's off. Like, just be you, do these tips. And then tonight, I want y'all to, well, Shauna has a question, and then I'll go into that. So do you get sales from Instagram, or is it more about branding yourself? I guess I've just answered that, I think. So Shannon.
I mean, as far as that goes, I was going to say it is more about branding, but I will tell you that people are always watching, and that's what's crazy. I saw this article the other day where Australia, like all these countries are taking away, like, where you can see how many people like on Instagram, and I don't know if they're going to do it on Facebook too. And I think that's such a great idea, because I think that does take away that fear of, like, oh, they're going to see that I only have 3 likes. The likes do not matter, because you can have 100 comments on the picture and 2 people like it, or you could have 100 people see it and 1 person like it. And so where am I going? Oh, I was just talking about, okay. So anyways, on Instagram, it is more about branding, but I will say I've had this happen several times. So I post, like, you can do the highlight reel in Instagram. And if you're not using Instagram, I encourage you to do it. It is the #1 selling tool, like, in the world right now. Instagram is just booming. I feel like I do have more relationships on Facebook, just because I've never, like, focused on on Instagram as much as I am now. But I feel like for me to get out of my out of my warm market more, Instagram's where it's at. Because Facebook, I feel like it's a lot of warm markety type things. Anyways, I put everything into my highlight reel, and I've had it on multiple occasions. Someone messaged me, like, off of one of my nails in my highlight reels from, like, 48 weeks ago or 32 weeks ago. So people use those highlight reels, and I do make sales on Instagram. Now, I don't sell on Instagram. I always refer people to a VIP page, obviously. But I have made sales, like, through people looking at those highlights or whatever, and then just going on, my website to order or whatever. I'm sorry, I was reading this next question. I don't like post pictures of my kids on social media. How do I show my family is one of my so I have a friend that's like that. She does not like posting pictures of her kids' faces. Well, she does now. She used to never, like, for years, she never posted pictures of her kids' faces. But what you could do is, if they're coloring, take a picture of their sweet hands coloring. Or if they're blowing, you could still take pictures of their feet walking in the backyard. You could still do fun things like that. I feel like you could share like that. She always posted about her kids, but her kids' faces were never in them. So I don't know if that would help at all, like, if you would be okay to do something like that. But I do specifically remember my friend always posting, like, her kids' hands and stuff, just doing different activities. So I feel like there's ways you could share them without sharing their face.
I think that's a really good tip. Really good tip. Okay, so because we only have 9 minutes left, unless anybody has any other questions, I'm going to give y'all just, like, a little activity to do tonight before you go to bed. So I want you guys to think about, obviously, your 5 favorite things. I mean, that's the obvious thing to do before bed if you haven't already. And when it comes to your Color Street type posts, like your Color Street commercials, I want y'all to really go with the whole tip of Shannon when she said, like, answer questions that you had in the beginning in your posts. So tonight before bed, write down 3 hesitations or questions that you had before you either tried the product or signed up with the business. So maybe, like, 3 hesitations or questions you had when you were introduced to the product, and then 3 hesitations or questions you had when you were introduced with the business opportunity. And over the next, couple of posts that you make about Color Street, use those to tell a story. I mean, really, I feel like the people I love most on social media and follow the most, and I buy makeup from MLMs. I buy shampoo from MLM. Like, I buy so much stuff because I get, like, obsessed with these girls before I purchase. So like there's things I don't even need. Like I am not a big face wash fan, but I am obsessed with this one girl, and so I just buy from her. But anyways, go with the, I don't know where I was going with that, but anyways, go with those hesitations, tell a story. That's where I was going. Tell a story with this. So like me personally, before getting into direct sales, like I did not think I could do an in-home business and also have kids and be able to coexist those two things. And that's why tonight when I was on, I just made a post about how corporate like could care less that we had kids screaming and like interrupting our meeting when me and Shannon had our conference call today. Like they could care less. And that's what I was so worried about, you know? So tell a story, but write down your 3 things for each, the product and the business opportunity, and really touch on those things. And like, I think we need to have a thread and like screenshot it. And when you get that post done, like we'll make a thread and you can share it. And we'll like go love on that post. Like, don't worry, we'll make sure that you'll get plenty of love. Yeah, that's cute too. I've seen some people who do that about their kids too. Okay, so any other questions? So thankful that you guys hopped on. So go do that really quick before bed. And then if you are on here and you have stylists underneath you or a team, make sure that they get this recording. I will make sure that I get it up by tomorrow night. So be looking out for that and send to all of your girls. But anyways, thank you, Shannon, so much. Those were really great tips, and I appreciate it. And I'll chat with y'all later. Bye, guys.